fragile, handily with carré. And it's another box. By the title of the video, you know what it is. Yet another eBay find. Here to complete my collection of Macintoshes post Steve Jobs' return, with an asterisk, because I'm a little fuzzy on the details. I don't remember if the beige G3 came out before Steve Jobs returned, if it came out after, but the design came from before, because the design really, to me, is just an 8600 anyway. But if it was in the works, and then it happened to be released after he got back, or if it was purely afterwards. But either way, you know, your things like your blue and white G3, your graphite G4s, your Quicksilvers, MDDs, G5s, well, I have pretty much everything. In fact, I do have everything except for an MDD, and that's what this is. Also, this thing is insanely heavy. I was expecting it to be heavy, but I was not expecting it to be that heavy. Let me find my box opener. Here's my scissors. Oh, that's scissors. Well, I guess we're using the scissors then, because someone lost my knife. Good for them. They won't like it when I take theirs later to replace the one that they lost. Because this is almost certainly not going to work. It was heavy enough, I actually went ahead and I cut some handles into the box to make it easier for me to move this. Please tell me I could do this. Expose it. Okay. It should be open now. So I should be able to just do this with the world's crappiest tripod. I should be able to just open this. Or not. There we go. Well, this thing used recyclable packaging material, but not the greatest. Definitely not the greatest. Well, at least it wasn't being shipped internationally or something. There's no power cord or anything. Seriously? They really did use pretty much anything they could get their hands on. Alright. It's out. Let me clear this nonsense out of the way, and I'll be right back thanks to the magic of video editing. So there it is. The last of the Macintosh G4s, the mirror drive door, or MDD. Of course, the reason why they call it mirror drive door is because it quite literally has a reflective mirror drive door. The other thing that people call these is the Windtunnel. And I wonder if we'll get to find out about that here on this video. Perhaps. But also perhaps not. Either way, a speaker, optical drive, and I think that's just a cover right there below that. Power switch and a headphone output, I believe is what that is. I don't think that's a reset switch. No, it can't be a reset switch. So we'll flip this around. There is a nice little gash right there. I think you can just barely see it. But, oh well. It's not that big of a deal, I suppose. I can see a little bit more. as a sweat bee tries to ruin my entire day. There's a lot of ventilation in the back, as you can see. There's a lot of ventilation in the back. I think that is a microphone, or perhaps it's a line input. Or actually, I think that's supposed to go to the Harman Kardon speakers that this would have come with as like a DC power jack or something. I'm not sure, but you've got line in and line out on the top there. This has a modem and an Ethernet. 2 FireWire 400, USB. If we come to the slots, there's your video card, which thankfully has got a normal DVI connection in addition to the Apple Display Connector, ADC. And it looks like there is a wireless card installed as well, and that's it. There are 5 slots on this model. Let's see if we can read the spec label on this. It's Ethernet MAC ID. If I quit moving, we might. Looks like that says DP 1 GHz. This is the dual processor model. 256 meg DDR DRAM. 80G HD, so 80 gigs on the hard drive. Super drive, so that's a DVD or W. Radeon 9000 Pro, which is probably what's still in there. 56K for the modem. And what does it say? 1000T? So perhaps gigabit Ethernet, I think is what that stands for. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn it onto the other side for a second, just because I want to show you another nice, wonderful gash on this thing. This happens to pretty much all of these, so I'm not going to fault the seller on that. This is very heavy. I was not expecting this to be as heavy as it is. I figured it'd be more like the Quicksilver. But opening this is really easy. And that's all you gotta do. And I see a problem right away. Well, at least what I think is a problem. In any case, there's, I think, part of where the machine gets the name Windtunnel from. There's a power supply back there, and it's an ACBEL, what was that, API 1PC36. I think that's modeled off of the X-Serve, and that would fit in a 1U rack mount case. Also, they're apparently known for failing, so hopefully that one works. There is space for 2 optical drives. And I guess space for something else down there, I'm not sure. Giant fan. Looks like they left me the hard drive. It's probably original. Yep, 80 gig. So that's good. There you can see the massive heatsink. There's the expansion slots, I believe. No, that's AGP. So it does have an AGP slot. At least I think that's AGP. Yeah, it's AGP. And the rest of those slots are 64-bit, what they call PCI-X slots. There's the modem. And it might actually have an airport card installed. No, it does not. The airport would actually go in that little slot right there. So I guess that's why that wireless card is in there. But here's the issue that I have, is that somebody has left a battery in here. Now, I'm greatly curious as to whether or not it's actually still good. I doubt it. It does say O2 on it, so I'm sure it's original. The RAM slots are fully populated. You can't really see those. They're right here. But, yeah. I don't see any gross defects or anything else. I'm going to go ahead and button this up. Battery and all, because I'm curious if it's actually good. Just buttons right up. One last thing. On the back of this here, you may have noticed, you might be able to see this. This is for a lock. So you can put a lock here, then you can't open the side cover. Now there it is, snuggled into my testing area. Got it hooked up to the monitor over there. I'm just using the PC keyboard and that really ratty Bell Mobility wireless mouse. Wireless mouse? No, it's a USB mouse. I have to use the USB peripherals, and I didn't feel like going inside to get the Apple ones. I don't even know if I have any Apple ones sitting around here. All my Macintosh stuff is at the other place, but, well, hey, if you were paying me to do this, you might have a point, but you're not, so we will go ahead and grab the power cord, which is sitting right here, and we'll plug it in. On video. Watch it shoot flames out the back like a fire-breathing dragon. I have had that happen before, so don't count your chickens before they're hatched. Here we go. Well, it didn't go foom. At least not right away. Let's go ahead and hit the power button. Now that's loud. Just heard the hard drive. Here it comes. And we are booting into an operating system. Interesting to see if this is password protected. Oh, and it crashed. You need to restart your computer. Hold down the power button for several seconds or press the restart button. Does this have a restart button? I don't know that this machine actually has a restart button. I don't even remember how to get into what they call verbose mode. So we have problems already. I think it's Command V. While it's booting up. See if we can figure out why it's crashing. Yeah. Of course, now it'll boot just fine. There's probably a RAM problem. That would be my guess. Unresolved kernel trap. Data access. Kernel loadable module. System uptime. In this. There's an exception state. Kernel loadable modules and backtrace. COM Raylink driver, RT61 card bus driver. I wonder if it's our network adapter. So I think I'm going to take that wireless adapter out of the machine and see if we proceed any further. Okay, I pulled the wireless card, which is right here. It is a Raylink chipset. It's just an 802.11g card. So, I mean, who cares? Let's see if the system's any happier. Not expecting much. I really do think it's a RAM problem, but give that a try. Could also be that the hard drive's bad because it just clunked twice. Well, it does look like it's getting a little further. MDNS responder. Yeah. There you go. It was this card. The computer was restarted after Mac OS X quit unexpectedly. Well, indeed. I have no mouse. That's highly productive. I might have to go get another one because I know that this thing definitely has got some issues. Is it going to work now? Well, it's going to try. HP Director, all-in-one, Office Jet D series. Well, I don't care about that. It's running 10.5. You can tell by the dock. So I'm going to ignore on this. Your computer's clock was set to a date before, so the battery is junk. Not that I expected anything different. Yeah. It says your keyboard cannot be identified and will not be usable until it is identified. Well, boy howdy. I guess I'll be a good boy and identify my keyboard. Unfortunately, you can't see that dialog box. This camcorder is terrible with the white balance on this kind of stuff. So give me a moment. I'll identify my keyboard and then we'll take a look at some of what we've got going on here. I don't mind telling you, it did kick the fans up. It is starting to get kind of loud. Hope it's not overheating, because that would be something. Yeah, the fans are starting to get kind of fast. So like I said, this was running 10.5. I don't know exactly what version, but this dialog box will tell us. I'm going to zoom in on it so you can actually read it. 10.5.7, so not the latest release, but pretty close. We do have dual 1 GHz processors, 1 MB of L3 cache per processor, and the RAM has been upgraded to 1.5 GB. Remember that it was originally 256 megs stock. So, what would that be? 2 512s and 2 256s? That's probably what we've got in there, because there's 4 modules. That's what I would guess. Yeah, this thing did definitely kick up the cooling fans. Have a listen to that, if you can hear it. I'm sure you can hear it very well on this camcorder. Although it's also probably picking up the birds quite well, too. I wonder if the airflow coming out of this is warm. No, it's not cold. It's not blazingly hot, either. So, I don't know about that. A heatsink that's working ought to get piping hot. I'm going to click on more info. I am going to take that battery out. That'll be the next thing that ends up happening. God, this tripod is so awful. My apologies for this tripod being a piece of crap. So, this is a computer with no name, it looks like, because the name would normally be up here. It's a Power Mac 3,6, 1 GHz processors, of which there are 2. 256K cache each, 1 meg level 3 each. I wonder if all the fans on this are actually working. ATA, should be 2. Pioneer DVD-RW. Kind of interesting to see a Pioneer drive, but it has one. And our IBM 80GB hard drive. Texas Instruments audio. No Bluetooth. Diagnostics. Disk burning information. Yeah, the fans have just kicked right up into overdrive on this. I wonder... Smart panel. Latest backup failed. Open SuperDrive. There's no drive in, disk in it. Open log me in. I'm just looking at a couple of other things which you probably can't see because I have the camera zoomed in. Sorry, I got distracted. Fiber channel, none of that. Firewire up to 400. I'm kind of surprised that this doesn't have Firewire 800, but maybe some of the later MDD models did. Again, I don't remember. My details are fuzzy on that one. Graphics and displays. Yep, we still have the same ATI Radeon 9000 Pro. Nothing has changed there. Harbor RAID, none of that. Memory, well, Was I right or was I right? PC 2600, that's an odd speed. But 2 512s and 2 256s. No PC cards, no PCI cards. I mean, it did have one, but obviously it doesn't work. It just crashes the system, so I don't know if it's just an incompatibility with macOS or if there is actually something wrong with this card. Maybe that's why this machine was left for dead. No parallel SCSI, power information, no UPS, printers, Samsung printers. That's what this thing up here is. Let's go ahead and close out of that. No SAS, no serial ATA. It would have been very early days for serial ATA, but I'm mildly surprised that this doesn't actually have it. Of course, USB, it sees all the stuff. Airport, no. Airport card. Okay. So we'll quit out of that. And we'll have a look at some of the other things that we have going on here on this desktop, because it was not wiped. And I have no intentions of abusing anybody's trust here by exposing trade secrets on a video, but I do want to at least take a look at some of these folders. I'll probably take a look at their contents off video, but Converge Global 2, don't know what that is. Avex Technologies, again, I don't know what that is. I guess I'll find out in a bit, and I'll come back, thanks to the magic of video editing, to let you know a little bit more. There's a folder titled Desktop. There's a document there, I don't know what it's for. Converge Global. Can't tell if that's another Word document, it's what it looks like. There's a PDF. Another clone Converge Global, looks like Converge Global 1. The hard drive. There's a burn folder, and a folder titled James. As far as programs are concerned, at least as far as what's readily apparent on the dock, which is extremely tiny, iTunes, iPhotos, usual stuff. Wireless utility card bus PCI. That would be for this little railing thing. I mean, that's useless, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that. System preferences, Time Machine, Microsoft Entourage, so this obviously has some version of Microsoft Office on it. MSN Messenger, there's a blast from the past. Anybody remember using MSN Messenger? I was an AIM guy, but I didn't think there was really anything wrong with MSN Messenger, other than the fact that it was associated with Microsoft, but sometimes you just can't get away from crap like that. HP Director for an all-in-one printer, and Mozilla Firefox. Well, at least they ought to be given some commendation for having a sense of using a decent browser. Documents, Flash Player DMG is here for some reason. I wonder what's up with that. Yeah. I'm not really sure why that's there. I'll get rid of that. Downloads. Yeah, there's a couple of things. Financial report. I'm not going to look at any of that on video. CorneliaVolino.text. Thai stuff he.ppt. Okay. Again, stuff to look at off video. Wonder what's in the trash can. Oh boy. Oh dearie, dear me. 261 items. Flip for Mac WMV. I guess that's a WMV player for the Macintosh. Well, I would have thought that by the time of macOS 10.5, they would have been able to play WMV files just fine. Nothing really special to see. Although what I will go ahead and do, PCI Ethernet in slot 4. I don't think that exists. But we'll see what network adapter is actually on the system. I'll go ahead and plug in my network. Oh yeah, the exhaust output on this is getting warm now. It's actually getting quite warm. Yeah, it says no IP address. Self-assigned IP. Should get that in a minute. DHCP once it figures itself out. Yeah, there it is. Ethernet is now connected. So this doesn't exist, so I'm just going to remove that. Go ahead and apply those changes and quit out of this. And let's see what version of Firefox this is. I sure hope this does not decide to open up something private when I go and open this. I just want to see what version it is. Wow. You can see even on a dual processor G4, this just is... this is just not a great experience. I'd have to check and see what some of the dates on these files are. Might be kind of interesting. Did it crash? No, it's still running. It's just taking a very long time. What version of Firefox is this? It's pretty old. I mean, it would have to be. This is only running 10.5 Leopard. There are definitely some custom things here. Something about Ontario Ministry of something. This is Firefox 3.6.11. So one of the last great versions of Firefox. Ontario Ministry of Northern Development and Mines. Most visited. Bank of America. Alpha Trade. Face Crack. Blue F of Doom. Yeah, there's an insidious virus if I ever saw one. Okay, we'll get out of that. You know, I feel bad enough just exposing the user's name on a video. Who knows what kind of stuff is actually on here. What is in this desktop folder? Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, there's pictures. Okay, we're gonna close that right up. And pretend we didn't see that. Why is there a link to the Macintosh HD in the Macintosh HD? Typical computer stuff that people did to their machines for some reason. Anything in the documents? Setup guide, dual processor, uniprocessor, that looks like just standard stuff. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything in the documents folder. Office X. Office 10. Go in the applications folder, see if we can find some stuff. Acrobat, Smart Panel. I don't think this Art Director's Toolkit is standard. BTV Carbon, Log Me In, Microsoft Auto Update. We have Office 2004, OpenXML, Fax STF, Flip for Mac, Graphic Converter US, HP, iDVD, Internet Connect, Installers, FileMaker Pro 5.5 version 2 trial. Pixel Enhance, Omni, Outliner, another copy of Office, LimeWire. Well, there's probably a virus on here somewhere. I shouldn't plug that in. Snaps Pro, Stuff It Standard, Wireless Utility Card Bus. So this is definitely a candidate. Oh, storage location for Time Machine backups can't be found. So we'll go to set up Time Machine, see if we can have any information. No, it doesn't really say anything. So this did have Time Machine backups at one point, but those are gone. What's an Internet High Speed? Business Internet High Speed, but you can't run it on this because it's a classic application. So that's highly productive. About Internet High Speed. Bell for Macintosh, version 1.11. Application will work on any Macintosh running macOS 7.6 or later. I'd like to think by 10.5 you didn't need that anymore. Yeah, I think I'm going to shut the video off there. I'm going to go through maybe some of this stuff, just have a look, see at what's going on, but you can definitely hear it's making quite the noise. Well. So I was browsing this machine, and for the most part, it is pretty benign. You know, taking a look at the dates. I did move everything out of the trash can. I moved it into its own separate folder, so that's got a date of today. This thing is really loud. And yeah, the heat output is getting kind of... It's definitely getting hot at this point. When I'm looking at these, in terms of dates, there's not really much to see. 2011 looks like the latest date that I've actually seen on pretty much anything. Yeah, 2011. Yeah, 2011 looks like the latest date that I've seen on really anything that's in here. Most of it's from 2010, so it looks like early 2011 was probably the last time anybody ever really used this. And again, for the most part, it's benign. You know, pictures of who I presume whoever owned this machine last. There's documents that I presume are work documents. There's software downloads. I mean, it has LimeWire on it. So, take from that what you may. Yeah. So, benign, for the most part. Definitely mostly benign. But there is one thing that I find a lot of on computers that I get. Whether it's eBay, thrift store, found on the side of the road, or whatever. And that is items of, well, an adult nature, we'll put it that way. And I was actually quite excited, because I was happy to not find any of that on here. Because I looked through the downloads folder, I looked through the pictures folder, there's an iPhoto library on here, you know, I looked through movies, I looked through all that stuff. Didn't see anything. And then I went into this folder that is here. You can see where this is going. See that thing titled Incomplete? May 25th, 1970? Which suggests almost that that was, you know, relatively recently, because it would have probably been after the CMOS battery expired. Well, I'm not going to open it for obvious reasons, but I'm just going to say I found it. Like, that's... it makes it... Oh. I'm at a loss for words, I really am. I was so happy that I didn't find it, and then I found it, and instantly my hope in society just sank to the floor once again, because it's just... bleh. Honestly, bleh. Like, there's so many better uses for a computer than that. I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, whatever. Far be it from me to impress my beliefs on you. Even though you all do it to me all the time. But, you know. Far be it from me to do that. But just bleh. No thanks. Not interested in any of that kind of stuff. I am kind of curious how big this folder is, because it doesn't give me a size. So we're going to do a get info on that. Can I do a get info on that? Did it actually tell me? Well, it's not that large. Which is quite the statement to be making in the face of what's actually in this folder. I won't say any more than that. There's no comments, thankfully. It says incomplete. There's some things in there that suggest to me that maybe there's some corrupted downloads. I don't care. Yeah. So, I'll tell you where this is going to go. In fact, I'll show you where this is going to go. I'm going to assume that you can actually see what I'm doing. We're going to take this folder, and we're going to drag it right down here. Goodbye. Don't need any of that stuff. Ugh. Anyway. Oh my word. I wasn't expecting that. That's just... You want to think... It makes you think things about the person that owned the machine last, you know? And it kind of makes you feel dirty for touching it without cleaning it, because I didn't clean it first. I don't know. All I can say is thank God I didn't get the keyboard and mouse that came along with this thing. Good lord. Yeah. So, that happened. And we're going to move on. So I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and shut the video down. I don't think there's anything really worth saving on this machine, so I'm going to just erase the machine. I'm going to just erase everything that's on it. and we'll go ahead and start fresh with a new version of the macOS. But I'm going to do that in a different video because I think this video is already long enough. So we're going to say goodnight to the Windtunnel, and I'm going to say goodnight on this video, or good day, such as it may be, although it is the evening. It's about 7:40. Lately that's been about my bedtime, so I don't know. But I have other things I wanted to work on. I wonder if that'll actually end up happening. Well, anyway, I'm going to shut the machine off, and I'll shut the video off. So thank you for watching, and if you have any comments, feel free to leave them below. Wow, peace and quiet.